He left us his demons, as spellcasters against the purple evil, against the night. I can only tremble at the thought how Wróbel and his ilk open up to humanity once a century. Alexander Blok. Mikhail Wróbel was born on March 5, 1856. His mother died when the artist was only 3 years old. His father was an officer in the Cossack army. Although he encouraged Mikhail's interest in art, he sent his son to St. Petersburg University at the Faculty of Law. The father wanted his son's work to be related to the benefit to society. During his university years, Mikhail Wróbel took up philosophy consistently and profoundly. At that period, he learned Kant's aesthetic theory. In this theory, the main role of geniuses was available only in art, and their task was to work somewhere between nature and freedom. Many art experts say that Mikhail Wróbel made up his mind to pursue the art because he really believed in Kant's ideas and thought that he could be a true benefit to society. Wróbel understood that he was not interested in studying the law. Therefore, as a student, he spent all his free time at the Hermitage. There he became a part of the artistic community, studied in the workshops of his friends. When he graduated from the university and completed his year of military service, he finally entered the Academy of Arts as an extern. The main teacher of Mikhail was Chistakov, and he recommended Wróbel to Adrian Prakhov. The fact is, at that time, Adrian was engaged in the restoration of St. Kirill's Church in Kiev. He needed an unknown and inexpensive master who could work in an academic style. In theory, Wróbel was supposed to fit perfectly. His work came out original and the customer really liked it. But Wróbel liked the customer's wife. Mikhail openly stated this. To get rid of the inconvenient artist, he was first exiled to Venice, and then he returned to Kiev, and eventually, in 1889, Wróbel ended up in Moscow. In Moscow, Wróbel met his friend Serov. They had known each other since the studies at the academy, and met Korovin. The artist's friends introduced Wróbel to Sava Mamontov, a philanthropist and entrepreneur. Mamontov actively supported Wróbel's work. In the house of the patron of the arts in Moscow in 1890, the artist painted The Demon Seated. The main reason for the creation of all images of demons in the work of Wróbel is considered to be the poem by Mikhail Lermontov, The Demon. Wróbel wrote about 30 illustrations for the anniversary edition of the poet's works, and I am the embodiment of how Wróbel himself represented the demon. The painting was made with special technique. All the paint was applied to the canvas with a palette knife, a special spatula for removing excess paint. This is how the artist imitated a mosaic image. The flowers around me are cold crystals that reproduce the fractures of rocks. I am without hooves or a tail that are usually typical for other images of demons. During the 19th century, Russian artists tried to show religious and pagan characters more human, perhaps to make it easier for people to associate them with themselves. So Kramskoy has a son of God, without a halo, with a sunken face. My appearance is androgynous, which means that I have both female and male external features. This is due to the fact that the artist tried to show that evil could be both in female and male spirit. I am a Nephilim, a fallen angel who cannot even fit into a painting because of my enormous stature. The shoulders and the arms are drooping, and the gaze is directed up to the sky. I think about my nature. I'm tired of doing evil, but I am not a part of the human world. I want to fly to the sky, but on the picture I do not even have wings that I could spread. I myself am somewhat similar to Wróbel, full of hope, at the beginning of my journey. I still have little to do, but I reflect and dream.